Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Build Hour. It's one of my favorite times of the week. But I'm really thrilled to have you all here, particularly I'm looking through the list of names there and the places. I see a few new faces or avatars, as it may be. So really glad you could all join us today. My name is Dara. I'm the founder and CEO of Noloco. And joining me here is Jill. She heads up our partnership program. And we're really excited to kind of guide you through this session today. I'd like to remind everyone that this session is going to be recorded. We'll be sending out the recording afterwards, probably sometime tomorrow morning for me, or the next 12 hours effectively. So if you do miss anything, or if you want to rewind, or if you have to pop off early to a meeting or to grab a bus or a train, you'll have the opportunity to catch it all up on our YouTube channel. For anyone that's brand new to Noloco, and I know that a few of you are, it's a powerful platform that allows you to build custom solutions for your team and clients on top of your existing data. Our customers build all sorts of internal tools, client portals, custom CRMs, and a lot more, all without code, all without technical skills, all without complex integrations.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Dara. And for today's event, everyone, it will last around 60 minutes. And the plan is to be taking any questions that come up throughout the next hour. And we'll also do a segment at the very end of the session as well. So just make sure you're dropping them into the Q&A box, preferably. That way other people can see the questions that you're asking and upvote questions, etc. And yeah, as I mentioned, we'll still have some time at the end dedicated just to that. Whatever we need to mop up that we haven't mopped up during the next hour.
Exactly. So if you're new to the Build Hour, let's quickly explain what it is. In the Build Hour, we show you one of our templates or how we would go about building them from scratch live. So you'll get to see how I take an app from absolute zero. I'll literally be typing in the name of the app, which is step 0, describing my thought processes and building out everything from the data tables to the app interfaces to hopefully permissions and even automations. And, most importantly, you'll be able to ask questions every step of the way. So if you do have a question about how something was done, I can pause, I can explain it in more detail.
Brilliant. And Dara has probably made it very obvious now, even with the slide that's in your face. But today we're going to be building a custom CRM. And this is an app essentially that you can use to help track your things like opportunities, your customer interactions, improve how you're communicating with different team members inside the team and maybe outside the team as well. We'll touch a little bit on that. But it's all going to be in one centralized platform built on Noloco. CRMs are obviously really important, for tracking like key performance metrics, things like that, and ensuring that the right data is in front of the right people. So we really look forward to kind of seeing what Dara builds and hearing your thoughts. And if anyone is building a CRM today on Noloco, we'd love to kind of hear any questions you have about that experience. We'll try and get to your questions and then make sure it's as interactive as possible for you. In the next 60 minutes, you're going to see an app go from absolutely nothing to something that you could share with your team. That's the purpose of these build hours. And of course, you'll have the chance to ask us directly how we're doing it live in this session.
That's it. So as I said, this will be live. There'll be very little pre-baking, but I'm a little bit excited to kind of mix it up this week. We got some good feedback on the pace of the last few build hours. So here's a little secret. I will be making mistakes, right? It's app building is about iteration. It's about thinking about the processes as you go, particularly in the context of no code, operations where you can quickly change what you're doing. So hopefully we can all learn from those mistakes. So that's the best part. So I'll do my best to explain what I'm doing as I'm going through it. And Jill will be in the background, kind of answering any questions that I can't answer live. So like we said, feel free to use the chat for some kind of general chit chat, I suppose. But if you have a bigger question that you do want me to answer live, you can use the Q&A section. And that just means we can kind of see it more prominently. How we can mark that we're going to address it live. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into building a CRM that works for your team. Okay, so hopefully I've got my tabs correctly here. Excellent. So for those of you brand new to Noloco, this is literally step 1 in creating a Noloco app. For those of you who've done it 100 times, you've probably forgotten this step because you're so used to building your app. But today we're going to go back to the absolute basics. The last few build hours, we've actually kind of jumped into an app that I'd already gone through this step. And there's a very good reason for this. So today I'm going to be building a CRM for a construction company, just as a kind of, you have to pick an industry, and it's a bit better if you pick a bit of an industry. So this CRM will be designed to track the clients, track the contacts, the accounts, the deals, etc. So I'm going to use all the other builders. I've kind of jumped straight into the app, and I've built out the tables by hand. But today I really want to show you how we do it with AI, and it just skips that whole step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a name of the app and pick a workspace. Pretty simple. What this will do is it'll spin up an app. And here's what I've done earlier. I've prepared a prompt that I'm going to pass into our AI step in the next step. So I'll just read it out while the app is loading. So a CRM for a construction company to manage contacts, accounts, deals, and tasks. Each contact and account should have an owner, i.e. a user. We want to track the deals linked to contacts and accounts. And tasks will be linked to contacts and accounts as well. So now that I've got that typed out, I'm going to just be able to copy that into this next step. Here you go. Right. So a lot of people probably haven't seen this, but we've had this AI wizard, I suppose, in Noloco for quite a while. And we've been continuously improving it. And what it does is it basically takes a description like this, and we see a lot of different types of descriptions, but what I've provided here, generally speaking, works best. A pro tip is focus on nouns. So what have I done here? I've said contacts, accounts, deals, and tasks, because if you can focus on nouns, it means it kind of tells the AI what sort of data you're looking to store. And you can kind of imply then, okay, I want each contact and account should have an owner. That's another type of field, and they're linked. I want to be able to track the deals linked to contacts and accounts, and tasks will be linked to contacts and accounts. Another mistake people make here is trying to describe what the app will do. So our AI doesn't actually work on that part yet. That's another part of the process. And that's something we do want to improve upon. But at the moment, this really just deals with building out the data layer. I do see we have a hand raised. I'm not sure what that means, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But if you have a question, throw it in the Q&A. I realize I don't have the Q&A open. Actually, I can't even find the Q&A. Oh, there it is.
No question in the Q&A box at the
Got
moment.
Yeah, I've just found it. So maybe Zob. Yeah, well, if you have a question, throw it in the Q&A. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and click build my app, right? And what this does is it sends it up to our AI agent, and it spits out a few different tables. And what's really interesting is, at this stage, you can come back and iterate on it if you want to. So in hindsight, I really should have pressed this button while I was talking a few minutes ago. But you can see it's pretty quick, right? What was that, like 25 seconds or so? And you can see it created the 4 tables that I would have spent maybe 30 minutes building. So it's not a huge time saver, but it is a brilliant, it's a brilliant time saver, effectively. So you can see here what it's done. It's created a contacts table, which have first name, last name, email, phone, and owner. An owner is linked to the user table, which we'll deal with in a minute. That's kind of pre-baked into Noloco. You've got an accounts table, which is account name. We can do all sorts of different things with this in a minute. We've got a deals table, which is amounts, status, and so on, and tasks. So honestly, I'm very happy with this as a kind of starting point. So I'm just going to move on, right? Because what this means is we'll have an app that will be able to customize. Oh, something went wrong. That's quite unfortunate. Let me see if I can just remove some of these and see if this doesn't work. And sometimes we do run into errors. We can always skip this step and build it out manually. And I have the data kind of to do that anyway, but it would be nice, obviously, to just build it out like this. Let's see now. And the next button is disabled. Fantastic. Okay. Let me see about this. Okay. No, not to worry, right? What we can do is we can click skip the step, which and I can kind of come back to I had one here's one I made earlier, right? That's not a problem at all, right? So this is effectively where we would have landed if we didn't set up any tables in advance, right? I'll get my engineering team to look into that error there. It's quite unfortunate. But you can see the kind of type of thing that I was going to build. Thankfully, I do have another solution. What we can do now is I have all the data that I have in my CRM, because a lot of people, they come from building a CRM in their in their Google Sheets or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the contacts table here, or the account table, sorry. And I'm going to just download this as a CSV. All of this is fake data, obviously. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to pop this in here. Okay, so what I can do is hit this, and then I can drag in my CSV. What this will do is you can see it's kind of generated the different types of fields from my table, right? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with this. This should be a single option field actually, which is perfect. So now you can see it's kind of changed it to that, and everything else is good to go. Yeah, and I'll just leave that like that. While that's working away, I'm going to download the contacts table because that's going to do almost the exact same thing. Brilliant. Bring me to my app. Right, you can see there. Oh, I always forget to do this. Okay, so we've got the, this should be called accounts. Perfect. You've got the accounts table here, and this is, the Noloco app. This is where you can start customizing the how the data looks. But before we do that, before we get too ahead of ourselves, I'm going to go back and add more data sources. So I'm going to import another file, and this time it's going to be the contacts table, and this is going to be called contacts. You can see here it's the exact same thing, and then owner is going to be linked to the owner table. I'll come back to that in a minute. Same with company. And while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and download the deals table. And again, here's what I did, by the way. When I was planning this demo, what I did was I kind of talked with ChatGPT about the problems I was facing and the different kind of data points I wanted to track. And then I asked it to generate sample data for all of that stuff. And this is what it did. And you can see that it's actually completely linked. It works, the owners are correct, and etc. So it's a really nice way of kind of bootstrapping the solution you're trying to build. All right, let's go back and then import the last two tables, which are deals. And then one more. I'm confident we'll be pretty quick after this. All right, and then what we've done now is we've effectively gotten an app, built in just a few minutes by importing the data that we already had. And it's not linked yet. That's going to be a very important step, and honestly, the most important step. And what do I mean by links? As well, so that's how it's effectively how a relational database works. But that's not how we think about things at Noloco. It's how our data is linked. So, like I said, if you have what's an account? An account is a company, someone who has an interest, a business who has an interest in working with your business, right? And of course, they are they have owners, right? So we're not probably a user, and they also have a list of contacts that work at that company, right? So here's what I'm going to do straight away, right? I'm going to actually just see if I can change this field to link to another record. This is going to be super interesting if this works, and I think it does, right? No, it doesn't actually. Um, that's something we're still working on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete it, okay? And I'm just going to write company here, and then I'm going to set up a brand new field, okay? Because we have the data in our Google Sheet. Actually, we'll call it account. I don't know why that's called company. We'll do link to another record, and here's where it gets really interesting. So the accounts here are each company, each contact is only linked to one account, but an account can have multiple contacts. So that will just be called contacts, and I'll add that field. Okay. Now going back to my data source here, if we go back to the contacts, I notice that these are in the reverse order. So what I'm going to just do is, can I just reverse these? Is there an easier way to do that? I'm sure there is. You know what? I can just go back to Noloco actually and do this. So now we've got that field set up. What I want to do is reverse these, come back here, choose company, just pop that in there. And then, yes, we would basically choose each of these and import it as we go, right? And there's another way of doing it actually. So in this case, we just need to do global market, for example. And we would do similar things here. So with the owner would instead be a link. And here's another way of doing it, right? We'll call it the owner link, particularly if you're coming from an import like this. So we can do user, and we'll say yes, and the accounts, we'll just call it owned accounts. Or no, we'll just call it accounts, actually, that's fine. And I'll click automatically link these records. And this is going to do the automatic linking that I just mentioned. So this is going to be based on the account name. No, this is owner, sorry. The owner accounts and then the email, sorry. This is confused. What now we've got an owner link field, and that'll be created here. And what it'll do is for each owner, it'll automatically link it to the user table. Oh, I didn't import the users first. I've made such a mistake. Oh, disaster. Okay, I'm not thinking today at all. I promise you we'll be in the data in the app builder now in just a minute. This is the problem with the demos, right? Who knows what can happen? Okay, one more time. I'm gonna go import here. This is a slightly different setup in that I'm not importing. Yeah, this is all I want to do. Import here. Brilliant. So we'll see these populate in just a minute. Yeah, you can see most of them have come in already. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this because it only works from this direction. And then I'm going to set it up one more time and you'll see that it will indeed link correctly. That was such a mistake. All right. Okay, we're going to call it owner link. We're going to call it link to another record user. And it's going to be called accounts. Automatically link owner email. Okay, excellent. Et voila, that's what I should have seen. Okay, great, excellent. Brilliant. Let me see. Contacts, these need to be similar. So we'll set up a similar thing here for the owner and the accounts. Okay, so it's easier to do an automatic link. Actually, I think we could have just set this up, amended the current field. But in any case, what I'll do is I'll set up an account link and we'll just link these fields together. And we'll call it contacts. Automatically link these fields when and contacts. Oh, did I delete the account field? Of course I did. Okay, let's switch gear. Owner link. And we'll call it contacts when owner is equal to owner. It's going to link to user. Okay, we're almost there. Yep, that's fair. Okay. Right. Before we go any further, let me show you what I've been doing. So now that we've got a few different tables in our app, in our database, right, in our no-code database, we can start to customize the app, right? So that's the most important step. And you can see that it only takes a few minutes. Sometimes you can use the help of AI, sometimes you can use the help of the data that you've already gotten. There's a few avenues for that, which is almost just as important. And this is where you can start using Noloco's build mode. Okay, so for those that don't know, this is the app that you use. And down here is a little pencil button that you can control with Command D or Control D or just by clicking this. And that's when you can edit almost everything you see on the page here. So in this case, it would be, account, different accounts, right? What would we want for an accounts page? Well, for me, I always love to add the global search. This just makes it super easy to kind of search across your different fields. So we might want to search for, construction. And it's going to show me all the accounts with construction in the name, right? We might also want to add an actual a drop down on industry. So we could also do construction, right? Same thing. Okay. Then you've got the form builder here. So let's customize this form. So the account name is a text field, but in many respects, this should be a single line. Wouldn't you agree? So we can change that just from here, which is a really handy way of changing what you see in the database. The industry, then, you can edit this next and give a few options. I like to change this up. Maybe that's a bit long, right? So maybe we'll just go with colored options here. And we kind of make it easy to search. The address, then, should be a multi-line field. And then the owner, well, we know that should be an email address. So let's actually change this to be not this owner field, but the owner link. And that will actually populate that. So let me just change this. So what we have now is a way to add an account. So let's call it, Cube Construction. Okay. We're going to put them in the construction industry. And their address will be 40 Smithfield Avenue, Wicklow, Ireland. And then the owner link will be Ian Thomas, for example. Now we've got a form to create an account. This makes it easy for our sales reps who are on the go to add new accounts as they come in. Of course, they could also be integrated with something like Make or Zapier. On the accounts page, then, I'm going to go back to one that actually kind of already has some here. On the accounts page, then, this is when we can start to customize things. Okay, so you've got this really nice drop down here. This one doesn't make as much sense, right? Because this is what we call a stages element, but at the moment it's kind of based on industry. So it doesn't really make sense to kind of change the industry, particularly not in like a sequence type thing. So what I do want to do is track the accounts stage through our sales funnel. Okay, so let's call it stage, and we'll make this a single option field, and we'll make something like lead, opportunity. I should know these because I just I did all this morning. Customer and expansion or something. And you can change the order of these at any point in time as well. Now that stage is there, you can see you can kind of add this to any of them, and you get a pre-drop down of options. And that's when it makes sense to go back to your app and add something like that. So what you can do then is choose the stage field and make them colored, and you can see we can very easily drop in the different stages here. Okay, what else has an account got? Well, an account should have contacts. Okay, so what we want to do here is make it contacts, and then what you can do is very simply, I think I deleted the account field from contacts actually. I think I need to add that back in. I did. Yeah, that was really silly. Account, so we'll make this a text field, make it a single line, and do this. And then we'll come back and we'll grab all our account fields, come back here, and I'll just drop this in here. Okay, 50 rows. That's absolutely fine. Perfect. So they updated pretty quickly. And then we can do the same with the account link thing, okay, which is the auto text field. Link to another record, accounts, and contacts, automatically link these records based on the account when it matches the account name. Excellent. So now we've got a proper link between contacts and accounts. So now when we come back to our account page where we've got a list of contacts, we can click on this again and change the relative filter. This is a super powerful addition to Noloco, right? Because it means you can have a list of all your things, and then you can filter it down by the values that are just linked to this page. So once I click contact selection, you should see this list go into a few contacts at most. 2, perfect. Because it's only 2, you probably don't need to paginate. But what's really nice saying is you can still add things like search. You can still add things like status, right? Or maybe owner, so you could add filters like that on top. But I'm going to remove those for now. And you might just want to make it a bit more dense. So you might just say, hey, I want this to be a table. Okay. And then, you know what? here's what our reps do. Our reps need to come in, go to an account, and download all of the contacts and share that with, the marketing team. So just click an export button, and straight away you've got an export button of those reps, right? And I can show you that export now. If I come back to my Google Sheet, and I just click. I need to go up here. Please go away. How do I do this? Oh, it's the download thing. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. Import upload. Drag in my export. Pen to current sheet. There you go. So the exact data that we saw there is now kind of available in a spreadsheet, your Google Sheet, to share with anyone. Okay, that's the main thing we want to do, right? And then when we go to contacts, you're going to see a similar thing, right? So if we were to click through to any of these contacts, they would show up here. And what we want to do is we want to show, we want to organize the details of this, the contact CRM, right? So for starters, we never really talk about contacts in just their first name and last name. We always talk about full name. That's what we want to see. So let's just create a new field called full name. And, formulas are a great way to do this. Actually, this is something that's a bit in beta, but I'm going to show you this anyway. We've got an AI to generate formulas now. The UI is going to look a little bit better when you guys see this, but it's available to us at the moment. So let me just type in full name here and see what it does. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm perfectly fine with this. First name plus last name. Easy. And that's just going to populate them and become available to us, right? And I'm actually going to make the full name the primary field on this table, and that just puts it first. Okay, now going back here, what I can do is to change the title then to the full name field. And I can drop some of these, I can change how some of these fields work, right? So I can make this default, and just drop out some of these and change them to a highlights. This is what I love doing, right? You can go, okay, we really want to know what status this is, what stage they're in, and who the owner is, right? And you can do that super easily. One thing I forgot to do actually is to, when I was importing these fields, is to make these a single option field. But thankfully we can change that, right? So we can actually just go here and click save, and this will convert these, hopefully, to a single option field. There you go. And same with stage. So we go back here, single option, click save, convert. There you go. Brilliant. So now we've got a stage and a status, and then these should update as well, which is really nice, right? And, similar to the above, what I like to do is make the stage, a kind of pipeline, right? Because that's what it is really, right? Wouldn't you agree? But there's some big piece of information here missing, right? So every CRM really needs to know two things: who the contact is and what the company that they work with is, right? So I like to put these in different tabs. So in Noloco, you can set up different tabs. So I'd set up an account tab and give it a little icon. Why not? I like to use the building icons for things like accounts. There you go, very formal. And then on the details tab, I will choose the profile icon or the user icon. One of these. That's one I was looking for. Okay, and here I'm going to add another details block. This time I'm going to change the fields that are in the details block to the account link. And it's just going to show account name, the industry, and the address and the owner, right? And let's say I know that we always want to know the shipping address because we're a construction company. So we want to mail them things. You can just quickly turn on quick copy to clipboard here, and you can just go, boom, and that's copied in my clipboard now. Let's say we want the address to be, or the account name, sorry, to be a bit bigger. We can do that too, just making it bold. We can also, yeah, I think that's pretty fine actually. I'd make the address maybe 75 width, so the owner is pushed up there, and then the account name also 75. So you kind of have that, that kind of grid option there. All right, what else have we got? So let's look at our data again. We've got accounts and we have contacts. And these are all linked up together with owners and so on. And we've got deals. These are not linked to anything yet. They really should be, right? So let me just quickly do that. You kind of see me do this for the fourth time, but that's just life. So we're going to link these to accounts and deals automatically link when deal account matches account name. Okay. Now we've got an account link here. So now we can go back to an account, right? And we can click into Global Market, for example. We can add another tab. We can say things like deals, okay? And this will be something about money. Why not? All right, and we're going to add a collection here, and we're going to make this deals. And importantly, then we go back to the relative filter in the options tab, and we click deals collection. And now this has filtered it down to deals. And kind of depending on whether deals, there'll be many deals, you could choose this to be a Kanban board, but probably not, right? You probably only have one or two open deals per customer. But it's going to be super important that this deals stage is a single option field, right? So again, I'm just going to change that. And I forgot I could actually do that from here. So let's change that here and hopefully nothing blows up. I think it won't. There you go. Boom. Lovely stuff. All right. And again, I want the contact there to be quickly copyable to the clipboard because we want to be able to grab their contact, right? And again, we don't really need pagination on this because we know there'll only be like one or two. So I'll just turn that to none. And then here's another good one, deal value. These should absolutely be currency fields. Of course it should. And we're in Europe. We're in the Eurozone. So let's change that because I know that's not easy to do on all platforms. And deals shouldn't be negative either. So let's change that. And that's really just a formatting thing. And I'll show you that exactly now. Now, if I go to the new deals, right? If I go over to the deals, I just want to turn on the account link, and you can see that this has automatically filled in the account link because I came from the global market account. Okay, that's super important. Deal name, then we will make this a single option, single line as well. We'll save that. Deal stage, let's make this display as a radio button. What's really nice is most of our deal stages are probably going to be defaulted to qualification, you know what I mean, or maybe even negotiation. Sorry. So we could do that, and let's just make it required already because we've given it a default field. The deal name should also be required. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. Okay, let's say expected close date. One thing it's always nice just to avoid errors. We're going to validate here that the should be after relative to today's date, right? Now, why is that, right? The expected close date. Let's say it's optional. Maybe we don't know, but let's say if we do know, let's not make the expected close date, in the past because that's just bad. That's just bad data, right? At the end of the day, you're looking to cut back on mistakes, right? So you can use what we call validation rules here, and this is super useful. You could do other things as well. You could combine it with the account dates or something like that. You might have, deals shouldn't be longer than 9 months, 6 months. You could build in any sort of rule like that, right? You could say something like should be before relative dates custom 6 months from now. Okay, so yes, it has to be in the past, but it also can't be way next year, right? It has to be in that mid spot. That might just be a rule you enforce at your business, but you have the option with Noloco. Okay, owner and contact. I haven't actually updated these yet. Oh no, account we can drop. Contact we should replace with proper fields. And date opened, well, yeah, again, right? So expected close date should absolutely be after date opened. So you can actually use a value from this. And importantly, Date opened isn't filled in yet, but what we can do is we can set it to a relative date of today's date as a default. Right? Isn't that pretty nice? Okay, that's that. That's kind of creating a deal. That's how I like to automate it. Right? Let's look at some workflows then, right? Let's say we want to email our team anytime a deal is created, right? Because we want to get people excited. Okay, so what I can do is when a new deal is created, add an action, right? So firstly, let's just send a message to Slack, right? We're going to send the message, forget this, like new deal. We're going to, use the money symbol because you're excited, right? And it's going to say something like deal name, okay, and stage, and then value, and then expected close date. Well, maybe let's put the contact here first, actually. And then you get the idea, though, right? And then you could link it here. So what you can do is you can say, hey, let's open that up here. So I'm going to grab the URL and just change that to, great, instead of the UUID, I'm going to drop in the triggers UUID and then view deal. That's going to bring people to that deal page. And what channel am I going to choose? Well, we've got a dollar bills channel. Let's send it to the dollar bills channel. All right. So let's test that. I'll turn it on, right? New deal notification. I've already connected my Slack, by the way, but you would just pop that in there. And this is a great way to keep your team in sync, right? So what I'll do here is I will create a deal, go to new deals. I'll choose Global Mart, who we're working with, and we'll call it the Global Mart expansion. Global expansion. We'll call it I've sent the proposal. Why not? It's €12,500. It opened actually yesterday. I just forgot to log it, but I do think it'll close, by the end of November. I promise them we'll get it done by the 25th. And then the contact is, this should be a drop down, but we'll sort that out. And then the owner is Dara at Noloco.io. Again, you could pre-fill this, right? I can show you that. I won't do it now, but it'll appear on my forms. And then this will basically run this workflow, and hopefully my team aren't too confused why I just sent a dollar bills notification in. I'll pull that up in a second when it sends. But there it is. Lovely. Let's see if I can share a screenshot of that with you all. For the purpose of this. You can't see this, can you? Let me show you here. I'll add an attachment field. Why not, actually? This is not the easiest way for me to have done this, but I did it anyway. We will choose. And voila. Give it a second while it uploads. I need a break. I see some questions. I'm going to make sure I can answer them. Anyway, there's the notification, which is pretty nice, I think, and it's a great way to kind of keep the team in sync, as you can imagine. And confirm delete. Cool. So we've got deals, and then we have, you could add as anything you want here, really. So I don't know. Yeah, this is great. So the deals page actually kind of came out of the box as good as I would want it. So our AI actually manages, or it looks at the tables and it goes, hey, what sort of data have we got here? And of course it saw the different close loss, close won columns, and it said, These should be here. Admittedly, they should be the other way around. You can easily change that, but it's sorted them out, right? Now, one thing I do want to do is create some dashboards. So what I'm going to do is clone this as a nested view. Then I'm just going to call it deals dashboards, because obviously people want to know. Like how is this done? So once you've got a view like this, we've got two views: deals dashboards. Okay, deals dashboards. Is this here? Deals dashboard. Okay, change the URL path. So now this is the Kanban board, obviously, but what we can do is we can change this to chart. Okay. And obviously there's no charts here, but if I go over here, there will be. And I'll just make this full width, and I'll make this a funnel chart. And on the x-axis, we're going to choose deal stage. And on the summary, we're going to choose, on the series, we're going to choose value, deal value. And then we're going to call this deal value. So now you can see the different values, and obviously we can also use the optional colors. So this is the wrong way around in many cases, but you get the idea. You can see how customers are going through our pipelines. I can then also, if you want it to be a different way, you can also then customize this and say, I want it to be 50%, and I want it to be a pie chart. And it'll function almost exactly the same. And I can kind of go, okay, I want another chart like this, but I want to do it based on months. So instead of stage, I'm going to do it based on pie chart. If I have a bar chart, I want to do it based on the date opened. So now we can group this by month, and we can get the deal values by month, right? I could change the color scheme there as well, so it'll be a bit more fun. So now we've got, how our funnel's looking, how it's looking at a pie chart, how it's looking per month, right? And then we can go back and say, all right, look, this is fantastic, but I really want to filter it by account. So then we can say, okay, how have we done from Global Mart? And you can see these are the kind of the deals that we're getting from Global Mart, right? Which is a great way to do that. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I should have paused for these questions a few minutes ago, and I do know about 15 minutes left, and I want to make sure questions. So let me just pause and quickly look at some of them. Nadir asks, is it possible to embed a subform within a main form? For example, to add a new contact while creating an account and have the contact automatically linked to the account? That is a fantastic question, actually. And I really should have addressed this. So if you're in the accounts page and we want to link some contacts, right? We'll open the contact form, and then we can say contacts. We want to, the answer is yes, Nadir. You can choose this, allow users to create new records. Click this. What this will do, and honestly, sometimes we have this other option, which is allow users to only create new records. Because if you're adding a new account, you probably haven't added any contacts yet. But in any case, what this does is it shows you the usual contacts and this new button. And you can see here that you can basically add a contact, and then that will automatically link the account when you create it, which is really simple. So let me show you that. So yeah, let me just do, why not? Blue Insurance, which is a company, obviously. Let me see, what are they? I don't really care. Digital services, why not? Washington Street. Owner link, we'll give this to Grace, and then we'll create a new contact, which will be Jane Doe, jane.doe@example.com, and she's the CEO of Blue. They are qualified, they're in the new stage, and then there you go. You can see that all flowed through perfectly, right? If you want to customize that form, you go, I'm sorry, not here. Here, customize this form here, and you change the owner and all this. And so this is exactly the form we would have seen just a minute ago, right? So it's a great question, Nadia. Thank you for that. Let me see. What else? You asked another question. Is it possible to log, or sorry, is it possible to automatically sync our email account to log into our super contacts or account? This is a great question, actually. So in a short answer, yes. In a kind of more complicated answer, like no. So it's something we really want to improve for our CRM offerings, which would be kind of, connecting your mailbox and making these interactions more intuitive, I guess, more out of the box, I suppose. But it is still possible. We have a make, and if you go over to our integration API keys, we have both a Zapier and a make integration. So you could watch for new emails or interactions with specific contacts, and then use Zapier or make to push them back to your Noloco CRM, which is usually how our customers do it. And that works really, really well for a lot of people because you can kind of customize what you want. You can do things like updating the last contact to that. You can move them into different stages. You have full control over it. And we have a module in both of those integration platforms to do that. We also have an API if you want to do that as well, but that's really how you go about doing it. Thanks for the question, though. And if you have more questions than that, obviously, do let me know. So we've created a deals page. One thing I think people always kind of miss is, let's say, the blank page experience in Noloco, right? Because the dashboard I showed you is just for deals, right? But you want a dashboard that covers everything, contacts, deals, etc., right? So let me do that. Let me go create a blank page. These are particularly good for showing your dashboard, right? I'll just call that dashboard. So what we'll start is I'll give it, let me just create some tabs because I think it's easiest if we kind of create some tabs. And the first one, I'll call it contacts. And this will be a few different charts based on contacts. So what do we want for contacts? We want to just know, maybe again, where are our contacts in how many contacts are we bringing in per month, right? So we'll just go create it at, we'll do per month, and we'll just count them, okay? And then the X, this can actually just be like anything really. I created all of them today, so that's not a surprise. I should have seen that coming. But you can imagine how that would spread out over the different months, okay? And then, of course, I can duplicate this chart and make a few subtle changes that will actually make it more interesting. So we can then see, we can keep it as a bar chart. Actually, we can keep it as change it to a pie chart. And we can then make it the owner. We can say, okay, who's the owner here? And we can see a summary per owner, right? And you could do a huge amount more things, such as you can clone it again. I just like to clone it because it keeps some of the settings the same. You could do things like status. So what status of all these customers in? And use the option colors if you want. And then you could do another thing like a gauge chart here. But let me see what else we got. We've got a stacked bar chart. This is really interesting. It's pretty new. So what we could do is do owner, or not wrong one, owner link. Yeah, email, grouping, and then we need to group by status. Yeah. So actually, does owner just work on its own? That'd be nicer. Yeah, it does. Okay. So now you can see, okay, look, Frank Moore has got the most contacts, but, a huge number of them are inactive. Actually, just one, but you get the idea. So you kind of see the kind of more granular dashboard. But you can also then add a few things here. Like, let's say you want, charts. Let's say you want to also do, the number of deals, and this is going to be a bit of a summary. And I'll put this above it, and we're just going to make this a statistic chart. And we're going to say deal value, and we're going to say it's the sum. So now we've got, total deals. Okay. And then let's duplicate this. And we can say, well, look, average deals. Right? That sounds about right. Let's see what else we could do in a statistic. We could do expected close date. Date opened. I don't know. You could do minimum. I mean, that's not really accurate, but you could do something like first deal or something, which would be particularly interesting if you added an option here to filter by account, right? So you could say, okay, when was their first deal? So for global market, for example, their first deal was here. The average deals are these, etc. And you can see then the context below. So you can get the idea of how you can have a combination of both dashboards and whatever. And the last one I want to show off is the pivot table, right? So let's say, what are we going to do? We're going to do accounts, right? And no, that's not true. What we're going to do is deals. We're going to do a pivot table on deals. We're going to choose pivot. And we're going to, on the right, we're going to call it the account name. And then, or do we have owner here? No, I didn't link up owner. Okay, it's fine. We do have, yeah, that's fine. And then on the right, we're going to do expected close date in the columns rather. And then I just have to choose a value, and I want to choose deal value. And then, yeah, I do want to show this something, and I want to do sum. And now we've got the, okay, this is too granular, obviously. This should be by month. So now we've got by month the different deals by the owners, and you can see then the sum at the bottom. So in what month? So we can see our sales by our deals, expected deals by month here, and you can see effectively the breakdown by owner, which is effectively the rep, and per month. And here's where you can get really interesting, right? So you can also add filters, right? So we want to only show filters by stage. So close one. So what we might do is default this to close one, but so it only shows close one, but you could still change this, right? If you wanted to kind of see, okay, how many did Bob Johnson lose in July? Which is obviously an important question if you're Bob Johnson's manager, right? So, yeah, question came in from DM. Sorry, I'm just seeing this. And I know we've 5 minutes left, but I'm going to wrap up now. But I'll answer this last question. Is it possible to have 2 or more forms to create a register inside associated with the same collection page in the menu? Is it possible to 2 or more forms? Yes, sorry, I see what you're asking me right now. Yeah, that's super possible. So let's say we have a deal for our marketing team and a deal for our reps. All you have to get to do is create a new page here. You've got a second deals page. I'm not sure why that didn't work. Well, in any case, yeah, there you go. This form is distinctly different from this deals form, okay? And you can customize both of them. You can link to them. You can even actually say when you're here, the form that should be used should be the other deals page, right? So now when I'm here, I click here and I go to this other deals page, which is how you do that. Okay. Wow, that time flew. I'm sorry if that was very touch and go at the very beginning. I had to reimagine a bit of my script, as you can imagine. So thanks for bearing with me, though. If we do have two or three more minutes for any more questions, if anybody has any, please do get them in. As I said, all of this recording will be available at sometime tomorrow. So, you can kind of rewind, go through some of these things. To kind of recap, what we've done is we've created a customizable, a starting ground really for building a custom CRM for your team. Keep in mind, this has been about 45 minutes to an hour. So imagine what you could do with a few hours or even a whole day or maybe even a week, right? Noloco is a great way to build something truly custom for your team and have an amazing customizable platform to build upon. You can define your processes all in one place, keep everything centralized, and really just keep everyone updated. You saw examples of that with the deal notification that I sent in. You saw examples of that, how you kind of customize the different columns and the statuses to meet your exact business needs. You're not really confined to the constraints of the SaaS platform that you're using. And you can build a really customizable interface around it all. So you can see here, I set up accounts. We kind of said, okay, there's deals. Each account has deals. Each account has contacts. You can make it easy to export those contacts. You can actually also make it easy to import those contacts if you want. One thing I didn't show about is comments. So you can say, hey, Frank, I need the latest numbers on Global Mart, and Frank will get notified. So you can collaborate all in the same place as well, which makes it very easy to keep everyone in the loop. I actually see Nadir just asked exactly another question. How can we add new users? Is that just on the page? If we sync with Airtable, our Airtable users automatically added to the users table. Fantastic questions. So you can add new users directly here in the add user or as an import through the users table. If you're using Airtable, if you have a table in Airtable called users, you can set up. I don't have it Airtable connected, but there would be a button here called sync users, and that sets up what we call a user list. And that way they automatically do pull in. You can define what is the email field, what's the first name field, and so on. If you're using Airtable collaborator fields, they'll automatically get linked in here, so we can track the owner and that sort of thing. So, and you can disable any fields that you don't want as well. And of course, if you want public sign up, that's also something we support in the login and sign up page. You can do that here. Otherwise, it's just restricted to those people in your user list, which is this list here. Brilliant. Thank you very much for your question here. And of course, everyone else. That's really all we have time for today. I do want to be conscious of everyone's time, but I really want to thank you all for tuning in, hanging in there today. I think we got a lot of requests for a custom CRM demo because almost every business needs a custom CRM. And I think, Noloco is one of the few ways you can make a truly custom CRM for your team, where it's kind of infinitely expandable. So really I appreciate everyone's attention here today. We will be online, of course, all the time. So if you want to reach us, if you sign up to Noloco, you can always hover over this question mark here and you can ask a question. You can ask a question of our community, and you can read our support guides, and you can even go through the Noloco Academy. And of course, you can find us on YouTube, which is where you might end up watching this video. And of course, keep an eye out for our upcoming webinars as well, which is where we posted this as well. We've been a very interesting one coming up in about 2 weeks' time, dealing with the experience from the end user, how you kind of think about that as you build out your Noloco app. So thank you very much, everybody. And we will see you all soon. But if you need anything else, please visit our website, noloco.io. And thanks so much. Thanks for again.